All right, what up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. We are going to be taking a look at Plug, okay? Plug Power. We're going to start off on the weekly chart here. We're going to go over all of the signals, how we've been able to make money in this bear market, either to the upside or the downside. In the last video, I gave a very good entry right here of about 19.6. All right, and we can take a look and see that after that entry, Plug went as high as about 62, 63%. We trade options in the Options Trading Tycoons Discord. So, imagine the gains. You can imagine the gains if you were able to hold call options through that 60% rally. Those were very, very profitable, hundreds of percent. Okay. The link to join the Options Trading Tycoons Discord is going to be down below. All right. In the description, make sure to use code Zachly. And, you can gain access to our call outs and be able to get in on plays like these that we're posting pretty much every single day. All right. So enough of that. Let's jump into the video. And the first pattern we had was a descending wedge. All right. This is a bullish pattern where the stock is going to trade in that, in that pattern and then move to the upside for a very nice breakout. Okay. Now, if you Google the falling wedge or rising wedge, a lot of times what you see is that it'll break out and it'll come back and retest this entry point. And this is a possible re-entry to the top. All right. Now I'm going to go over why I'm a little indecisive, right? We really could rally next week or over the next few months back up to the upside. Okay. Because this is so far as of today, this is a clean retest for a possible move higher. All right. And we'll go over my support levels to the bottom that I'm watching and why I think that we could have a nice little pop. Okay. Now we were prepared to the downside watching this rising wedge. Okay. The rising wedge is the opposite of a falling wedge. It's a bearish pattern indicating we could have a downward movement once we break this trend line here. All right. And there was a sharp, dramatic drop. All right. And we're going to go ahead and zoom in now to the daily chart. All right. We'll go into the daily chart and look at what I see on the daily chart and pull up my daily drawings. Okay. So the first thing that I want you guys to look at, all right, is going to be bullish divergence. All right. So if we go ahead and I'll zoom in on this chart a little bit so it's a little bit clearer for you guys and everything is a little bit bigger. All right. And let's take a look right here. Okay. So we have a low here. All right. We'll highlight it right there. And we have a lower low here. All right. What that does is created some bullish divergence because if we look at our relative strength index over here, which shows you the strength of a stock at its given price level, right? So we're seeing it clearly in a downtrend, making what's known as lower lows, right? The RSI right here bottoms out, okay, and we create a higher low at this point. This is an indicator that traders are looking for with technical analysis to see a bullish pop in the future, right? And sure enough, we did get a nice little pop there. We came up to our 18.58 resistance level, and that's going to be the key support level that I'm watching currently. If we do continue a downtrend, I want to see, do we bounce at 1858? All right. There's a couple other very important things that we need to look at, but we're going to continue on this bullish divergence note. All right. So we got the bounce there. All right. And look at what we're doing now. We're reapproaching this bullish divergence trend line. So this is either going to continue, this bullishness, right? And we're going to see a bounce off of this trend line and head to the upside, or we're going to test it, bounce, and break below. All right. We've already bounced a couple times up there. And this is what I mean. We're bouncing, we come up, and we could break below. All right. There's a lot of market catalysts next week. All right. Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to have CPI and PPI. Those are going to be very, very important to the market and deciding the sentiment for the short term, right? Whether we want to go bullish or bearish. Okay, so we went over bullish divergence and how those were key indicators and how we are approaching a very, very important bounce level. All right, we take a look at that weekly chart and we saw that we were right at our level for the retest. So there's two indicators there that we may get a bounce, right? But the thing that I'm a little bit cautious of is this massive daily gap down. Okay, these fill 90 to 95% of the time historically in the stock market. It's just a matter of time, right? When is it going to fill? If you don't believe me, all right, look at this gap right here. This gap filled very quickly within a week. We have another small gap right here. This gap filled very quickly in about a week. All right. Look at this gap right here. This gap took much longer. All right. Took about 2 months to fill. it's from October. And then in December, we ended up coming and filling that gap down. All right. Take a look at this other small gap here. All right. This gap was in April, and we ended up filling the gap over here in, I believe, August. Okay. August was when we filled that gap. So, it may take less than a week for a gap to fill, or it may take a few months, right? This gap right here is from the very beginning of August. We're now approaching, kind of closer towards the midway, still in the beginning of October. But look at what we're doing. We're entering that gap, and we could potentially start to fill it. All right. So that's why I'm a little bit indecisive right here. I'm going to wait for some more future price action. Another key, and I don't want to say easy, right? Because not everybody is able to spot as things as easily, especially if you're a beginner. But we had a very, very clear head and shoulders combined with bearish divergence. So we took a look at the bullish divergence when you're making low and lower low, but the RSI is going low and higher, right? What we're seeing here is bearish divergence. We have a high up here, okay, and we go higher and we create an equal high as well over here, and the relative strength index is going down. So, even though the price of this stock went up a little bit and remained relatively the same, the strength of it fell very much. All right. And that was a leading indicator that we could see a drop on top of the head and shoulders pattern, right? We have a left shoulder, we have a head, we got a right shoulder. Okay. We broke our neckline. All right. Came up, retested the neckline, and moved down further. We've completed fully this head and shoulders pattern. And now what we want to see is, are we going to fill this gap down here? Let's say CPI and PPI affect the market negatively. Okay, you can expect plug to possibly come down to all the way about 1737 to fill that gap. Now, if we react well, okay, we'll go ahead and take a look back at the weekly drawing that I had. All right. And 19.6 is going to be this very, very important support level. Okay. We've been holding it very decent today. If we are able to hold this 19.6 level and bounce off of this bullish divergence trend line, we have 1, 2, 3 gaps to the upside to fill. All right. Now, remember what I said, this gap may fill in a week, it may fill in 4 months, it may fill, a year or more down the line. All right. So it's best to prepare yourself for these scenarios. Okay. We're hovering above this massive gap to the downside, and then we have 3 smaller gaps to the upside. So we're really at a critical level. And, I think once we break 19.6, we'll have a little bit clearer direction, right? Or that either we're going to head down for the gap fill here, or possibly look to bounce and start to try and fill some of these gaps above. All right. So that's it for the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Okay. Don't forget to join the Discord. The link to join the Discord is in